We are gonna do one workshop that we are gonna mix the concept of the symbols, layer styles, and we are gonna learn a little bit more nested symbols in this next workshop, okay? Okay, before we start creating our button system, I wanna make sure you guys install Sketchpacks. Just go on sketchpacks.com and you can install this plugin. Actually, this is not a plugin, this is like a software that is gonna manage your plugin. So once you install, this is not gonna show on your sketch. This is only gonna show here on the top bar menu on your Mac, right? So install that, and just after installing this, what you're gonna do is looking for this plugin, Style Generator. So you're gonna just come here where you have like this browser, you can just search Styles Generator, and you see that this is not a really good system to search. Google is not Google here, so I don't know how they are solving this problem, but if you scroll down, you're gonna find Style Generator. So just click here, and this is gonna install on your sketch. After installing, you're gonna see that you're gonna have this Style Generator here, and you can click here to generate new styles in the future. So we are gonna use this today. The first thing that we are gonna use this layer, right? I'm gonna just copy again this icon, and I'm gonna place here, so I'm gonna remember that this is like my atomic design system. I'm gonna create a new artboard on the layer style. I'm gonna press here, desktop HD, and here's gonna be my layer style. So I'm gonna rename layer styles. Okay, so let's create for now only 4 little squares. Could be 100 and 100. Just remove the border, delete. Okay, so I'm gonna just use some different type of color. Here it's gonna be the red color. Okay, so if you wanna just use the same color, just copy this color. Okay, I'm gonna just duplicate this one, this rectangle. If you see here, it's just rectangle copy. The second color is gonna be this one, so you can just copy or select whatever color you like. And I'm gonna duplicate another one. Here I'm gonna select light green. Okay, so you have this one also, and the last one is gonna be just another color. So I'm gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna change the color here. Okay, so you can just, after, if you just wanna copy the same color, you can just pause the video and just copy the same color for you. Okay, before we just go ahead, let's rename the layers. Instead of having rectangles, I'm gonna rename one by one. So this is gonna be color slash, and this is gonna be primary. The second one is gonna be the secondary color. Okay, so color backslash secondary color, and the third one here is gonna be success color slash success. The last one we're gonna rename color warning, right? Warning, like this. Good. So you have 4 different colors, and what we are gonna do, you're gonna just basically create a layer style, right? You have just to tap here, create layer style. Of course, if you don't want to do one by one, imagine if you have like a bunch of colors, it's gonna take a long time, but it's pretty much important that you at least name each one of the component. So I'm gonna select all of them, and I'm gonna click here on plugin, and I'm gonna use the style generator that we just installed, and I'm gonna just click here, and boom, you see like a created 4 layer style. I'm gonna just press OK, and if I go here on components, you see I have color, the color folder, so I have all the 4 colors right here. Okay, so let's go back here. I have my colors, my layer style, and I'm gonna create a new folder here. The new folder, I'm gonna just Control Command Space. I'm gonna use the Atomic Design icon, and I'm gonna call these buttons. This is gonna be our buttons for now. What we are gonna do right now, usually in one project, let's use an example that this is gonna be a desktop website. For desktop website, sometimes you need to create a different size for buttons, because sometimes you have like a large button in the front page with a big CTA, because users need to click that. But later on, maybe you have to add a small or medium button on the bottom of the page, because it's like a subscription, like an email subscription form. Or later also, if you have a kind of checkout and you have to add like a different size of buttons, you have to create one by one. But to avoid creating so many different sizes all the time, and maybe you're gonna start creating so many sizes that by the end of your project you're gonna see like I don't know, like 8, 9, and 12 different sizes of buttons, and it's gonna be really hard to manage all that. So the first thing that I like to do is gonna be something really simple. We are gonna just create a first shape like this, and this first shape, basically we are gonna use 106, okay, 106 by 48, okay. So this is gonna be our first button, okay, button size, okay. So the second size is gonna be 7540. So just press A as artboard. Sorry, I didn't mention that. So you just drag and drop, and it's gonna be 7540, right? 7540. If you are not very okay, I could do that. Nice. And the small one, we are gonna use 7032. I'm gonna just 7032, okay, 32, 70, 70. Okay, 32. Okay, good. Let's rename each one of these. This artboard, we already know we are on button, right? So we don't need to use a lot of information. We don't need to repeat button here, right? So I'm gonna just rename like size / large, okay? And for this one, I'm gonna rename size / medium. And for the last one, I'm gonna size / small. So we have 3 different sizes right now. I'm gonna create now one shape, any type of shape for our button. So you can just create here one shape, and I'm gonna remove the border. Just to make more clear, I'm gonna just add here like a little bit more like a radius. I'm gonna be more rounded corner for my button, okay? And I'm gonna just rename this as like a background color, and I'm gonna do this for other one. I'm gonna just copy and paste, and I'm gonna just do this. And for the small one, I'm gonna copy, paste, and I'm gonna reduce this for this size. Okay, so now you make sure that everything is like in the max right here for the border radius, and that's it. So now you just select the background color layer, and you can just link to one of the color. So we have the primary color, so I'm gonna just link each one to the primary color like this. And here again we're gonna add to the primary color. Of course, every button we need a label on the top. Let's create a label. To create a label, just press here and just go text, and you just type something, label, like this. I'm using New York Medium as a font. If you want to use this same font, you just go on Apple website. This is an Apple font they created, and it's free. You can download and install on your computer. This one, it's gonna be the label, and we have here the size. I think this is nice, and make sure that is on the center. The second one, if you see here, I think maybe we need to change for like a different size, because like it's gonna be too big for some of like some buttons. So like for medium size, maybe we are gonna use 14. Like, okay, 14 is gonna be nice. If you are not sure, if you are like aligning on the using these smart guides, you can just use here on the top. It's gonna be easier. And let's copy this one also, and I'm gonna paste here inside the label, and this is gonna be 12. Okay, a little bit smaller. So center. Okay, so we have like now these 3 different buttons, right? Of course, they are not buttons because we need to convert the little artboard to a symbol. We did this on the first video, so you just need to click here and you just create a symbol, and it's gonna ask you if you want to use like this information. Okay, yes, for now we can use like size, will be nice, but probably we're gonna rename this. Okay, so medium and oops, another one. Okay, so if you want to go to sandbox now, just to test, let me just move around a little bit. You can add your buttons here. It's only size, Juno. Yes, because of this, maybe we need to create like a button in the front to remember that. So this example is because everything we are doing in the same file, but usually I'm gonna teach you guys later how you're gonna use different files. One sketch file only for the buttons, one sketch file only for the icons, one sketch file only for colors and things like this, because I believe it's gonna be a little bit more organized. But in this case that everything is in the same file, probably we need to add like a button in the front. Okay, so I'm gonna just add one by one here, the large, the medium, and the smaller one. Good. So what do you have right now? Right now you have like the overrides. What you can do, you can basically change the text if you need. So you can just come here and say OK, the OK button, OK, like this. On the second one, maybe you can use like a cancel button, and the third one you can just use save. Okay, so you have like these 3 different icons. Of course, like icons, sorry, no, you have these 3 different buttons, and on this side you can see the name. Of course, if you don't want to keep this name because it's the name of the symbol, you can just use like a button, okay, just to remember this. And this is like a cancel button, something like this. Okay, but if you want to change the color now, remember that the background color here is already linked to one of the layer styles. You can just come here and you can change for the success color or secondary color or like a warning colors, something like this. So you basically can just change the colors as you like or as you need, right, inside your project. So at least you make sure that everything is gonna be on the same place all the time. So that's basically the idea how you create a system inside of this. Okay, so the second thing that we are gonna do on the buttons that I like to do is different states, because if you have like buttons like this, you need to create like, okay, but I need like a little bit more darker, because when usually like people are gonna hover, or if they are gonna press, or they're gonna like disable the button, something like this, you're gonna have like different states. To do that, I like to create a design tokens for that. So how we are gonna do this? We can create the tokens here, and we are gonna create as a symbol also. Why? Because we are gonna add one symbol on top of another symbol. Okay, so let's go here, and I'm gonna create 3 different shapes here for the state. So you have to create an artboard here, 30-30. Okay, And on this one, we are gonna just duplicate here 3 times. I'm gonna just create a little bit more space like this, and I'm gonna duplicate this 3 times. Okay, so the first one, we are gonna call this state a hover. Okay, so if you wanna let's organize the button, because it could be buttons slash state hover, and this one is the same because we have this problem. It's not a problem, but we are doing everything inside the same file, so we are gonna just go here, buttons, and rename again all of them. Okay, buttons, and here is gonna be the same. Okay, buttons, state, and this is gonna be the preset, and buttons, state, we're gonna add a disable here. Oh, sorry, I forgot the first one. The first one is gonna be the default state, right? So let me just organize this thing. So we have 4 different states actually, because the first one is one of the state, because it's gonna be the default state. Okay, so we have like 4 different states. For the first one, we don't have anything because it's gonna be the default state. For the hover, when the user just pass the mouse on the top, we need to change a little bit the color. So I'm gonna create a little square inside. I'm gonna remove the border here, delete this one. And what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna change this color, right? I'm gonna select here a color, white for now, and I'm gonna change the opacity for 20%. Okay, so this is gonna be the hover state for us. To the preset state, I'm gonna just create another rectangle here, right? Click here and here. I'm gonna remove this one, and for the preset state, I'm gonna use a black. Okay, I'm gonna use black, and I'm gonna use 20% of the black. So here I have on the hover white 20%, and on the preset I have a black 20%. Now I'm gonna add another rectangle, the last one, when the button they are disabled. On the disable, I'm gonna remove the border, and what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna add one fill as a white, and I'm gonna use as 60% of a white color. Okay, good. So there's a little trick here, because I'm using the same rectangle, the same color here. What I'm gonna do, you see like this little plus sign on the fills, right? You can add another fill on the same shape. So let's click here. So I'm gonna add, usually they select this gradient, I don't like linear, so just select the first one here. Okay, so this is gonna fill just one shape, one color, and now you're gonna use the black 100%. Okay, perfect. You see now you have like 2 fills. If I disable this one, I have like this one on the bottom. Okay, so how I'm gonna use this? First, I'm gonna just click here outside, and I'm gonna just drag and drop. You see, so you can just drag and drop this to the top. You see, so like just change the order. Okay, so you have like this first white 60%, on the back you have this black 100%, but I don't want to keep black 100%. I want to change the opacity a little bit of this, but I'm not gonna use opacity, I'm gonna use an effect. So if you come here, you see, just close to the color and click here, you have like a normal layer, darken, multiply, and everything. So I'm gonna use this option, hue. Okay, so just click once here, and now you have like a little bit a different opacity on this one. Okay, great. So how I'm gonna use everything like this? First, we need to turn this into symbols. First thing that you're gonna do is select this one, create a symbol, And the same thing for this one, create a symbol and create a symbol and create one more symbol here. Okay, all right, good, perfect. So once you have all the 4 states here, what we are gonna do, we are gonna insert this state, this symbol inside this one. But to do that, you cannot do this. You cannot drag and drop like this and place here, okay? It's not gonna work, you see? So how you add one symbol inside another symbol? This is a really important concept. This is the nested symbol concept, and you need to understand that. So once I have one symbol here, but I need to add this symbol inside this one, I have to add like I'm adding in a regular artboard. I just come here on buttons and have the state, and I have like the default state. So I'm gonna select the default state, I'm gonna place here. Of course, I don't have anything, and I'm just gonna like resize like this, like this. I have like this state on top of the label, on top of the background color, okay? You see that this is it's linked to a symbol. This is just a type, and this is just a shape as a background, okay? Let's do the same thing to the other one. I'm gonna just come here and I'm gonna insert one of the states. The default state is gonna be the first one, okay? And I'm gonna just basically resize here like this, okay? On the top, perfect, okay? And it's the same thing for the last one, to the last one, okay? So I'm gonna create here, I'm gonna add the button, and you have like the full state. Okay, so you have like the full state here, and I'm gonna create like this, okay? So if you want to keep a little bit more organized, you can just rename this. This is gonna be just a state. You don't need to have like the default state, because it's a symbol on top, and I'm gonna remove this one also, okay? So just remove this here also. So I know that is a lot of work to organize, but you're gonna be happy in the future because everything is gonna be organized on your library to use in the project. So okay, so now we have everything inside, but there's another trick, because on this one we use like rounded shapes. So I'm gonna lock this state, because the state I don't need to move around. So I'm gonna lock layer, okay? So just come here and you can just right click and lock, okay? Or you can use Command Shift L, that is lock or unlock, okay, if you need. So everything is gonna be good. So now when I click, I have just the background color here, okay? So just for one example, we are gonna just go back here to the sandbox, and we are gonna just test, because now you see you have the state, you have the label, and you have the background color. So you have like the default state, you have disable state, the hover, and the press. Let's see the difference between them. I'm gonna create a new artboard so we can just use this artboard for the button. I'm gonna just move here. Let me just zoom in here. Okay, and I'm gonna just duplicate this one. Even if you duplicate a symbol, you see, it's using the same symbol here. They're not gonna, this is not gonna be linked to this one, and these, all the new duplicated symbols, they are gonna be linked to the original symbol, okay? I'm gonna just click here, I'm gonna change here the state. So we have like the hover. Here you have another state that is gonna be preset when user press, and here you have another state, disable. But you see like it's working because you have like this color changing a little bit, but the shape is not helping because we are using a rounded shape. So to fix that, you have to use a mask on this. I'm gonna going back here, and you have like this background color, right? So how you create a mask? Basically, click here on the background color and you're gonna just duplicate. To duplicate, just press Command D. Okay, so this just duplicate on top of this one. So this color copy that I created is gonna be our mask. I'm gonna rename as mask, and this is gonna be the last item on the artboard. And here, what you're gonna basically do is just select this one and press mask here, mask. So you see all the items are masked now inside the same shape, and we are gonna do this also for the other one. I'm gonna duplicate, I'm gonna rename this as a mask, I'm gonna just add this by the end of the layer, and I'm gonna just turn into a mask. So everything is a mask, and this is gonna be the same thing. Duplicate, rename as a mask, and I'm gonna just add this on the last mask. Okay, so let's go to the sandbox. Now everything is working. You have like the default state, you have the hover state, you have the press state, and you have the disable state. So I'm gonna duplicate this one, and I'm gonna do the same. So you see, it doesn't matter the color now, because it's gonna work all the time for you. The second state is the hover, the third state is gonna be pressed, and this is gonna be the disable state, you see. And let's do the same thing for the third one. And that's the cool thing about having everything organized. So this is the hover state, here is gonna be the pressed state, and this is gonna be the disable state. So you have like these different states for each one of the button. And you see, like, it's so flexible now, because I can just basically copy this one. If I want to change the background color, I'm gonna use like a warning color for each one of these. You see that you have all of them here. I found like it's not a bug, but you see like the mask is linked to a layer style. So it's like it's because we duplicate this one, but we can remove this. You just go here on the buttons, and you can select the mask, and you can just detach right here. So if you detach, it's not gonna show. So let's see the medium, right? On the medium button here, this one, you don't have the mask anymore, and here you still have the mask. So what we have to do, just to make sure that this is not gonna happen, is just basically detach this shape from this one. I'm gonna just detach. I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna detach. Okay, so there's no layer style, so you cannot overwrite. Okay, come here. So you have just only 3 type of overwrite. You have the mask. Sorry, I didn't rename it properly here. Sorry, let's go back. Okay, no, let's go back, because I remove it here from the wrong layer. Okay, sorry. Good, now it's working. So you have the background color, label, state, background color, label, state, background color, label, state. Now it's working. Okay, so this is how I try to always organize my button system. There's one more trick here, because imagine that you have like this button and someone is going to start typing a lot, right? Like this is going to break your button. So there's a new concept that we call smart layout that basically fix that. So you're going to come here to the button, and you're going to select the artboard. So you see like the layout settings here. You can just add this horizontal, and you can just center, because in this case our button, everything is like a centered. So you just add like a horizontal center. So now you're gonna see that once I start typing here, it's gonna just resize the button to me. So if I have like a smaller button, of course it's gonna resize this to me. Okay, so this is the same. Okay, right? If you want to do the button like this, it's gonna resize the button automatically for you. So to make sure that every button is gonna work, you just select the artboard, just come here, horizontal center. It's the same thing for the smaller one, horizontal center. Okay, so all of them, you see, like it's a little bit, it's not calculating, but now if you just press enter again, this is gonna calculate automatically for you again. So this is gonna be cool, right? So save this document, right? So this is how I try to organize my button system. There's different ways also that you can make this a little bit more complex, but for now I think it's a good idea how you can handle buttons inside your project and using the concept of nested symbols. So you have like these 4 different states that we created, and you can reuse that for different buttons. Actually, you can use also maybe for input fields also. But for now, like for the buttons, it's gonna be good enough. When we start creating the forms, we can try to test and reuse that if it's gonna work. But at least like I think it's a good start. Well, hope you guys liked this video. Just to recap, we learned a little bit how to use the nested symbol concept, how you add one symbol, another symbol. We learned a little bit about overriding like information, like labels, like colors, things like this that we can just swap. And also we learn a little bit of masking, right? When you have like a bunch of layers, you can add one mask to crop what you need. And by the end, we learn a little bit also about the smart layout, how you can adjust the button, right? Like automatically when you have to change the text. Of course, smart layout is another subject. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do using smart layout, and we are gonna do a lot of new exercise related to that in the future. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and just keep watching because I'm gonna keep adding every week new tutorials. I think you guys like it. That just give a like, leave a comment. See you on the next video.